Hi, and welcome to this tutorial on transaction commissions. So today we're going to be going over how you deal with the commission feature of a transaction in Realty APX. So to begin, let's go to transactions. Once we are in transactions, we're going to go ahead and just jump into one of the properties that we have. 12345 Chicago Street. Alright, and now that we are in the transaction, you can see before we get into commissions, it's important to kind of fill in the different documents and the contacts as stated in the other videos. But once we have a sales price on the property and we know what the commission breakdown will come from, we can go ahead and jump into the commissions tab. So you'll see there's 5 options on this top row. We'll click on commissions. And when you come into commissions, you'll see that as of right now, there's zero amount of dollars being spread around. So the first thing we want to do is you can either select a commission percentage of the sales price, or if it's not going to break down to an exact percentage, you can do what is called a flat fee. So you'll just enter in the amount of commission that's being given to your company from the title company. So if we have $25,000, that will work the same way. Within this box, you're also able to enter any referral fees that you have, if that applies. And just remember, if you do have a referral fee, to enter them in as a contact, and you can create them as a referral fee so that when we push this to the accounting system, they will automatically be pushed over and we can just make a check out to whoever we're giving that referral fee to. Alright, so the next thing is selecting the commission team. As you can see here, we have done this in our setup, in our dynamic commission structure setup. If you haven't done that yet, go and watch that video and make sure your commissions are all set up. And we have selected the MAC team. So when you select a team, the office fees that are attached, so the commission plan that is attached to the commission team, will appear. So we can see for this commission structure, this is a kind of a 60-40 setup, which means that our office gets 40% and the agent will get 60% of the total commission percentage. So you can see here, this has been altered, but we can change this to 40. And we also have a regional fee, which is a flat fee amount. So that's not based on a percentage, but rather that is just a fee amount that was put in the setup. And so these are the different office fees that we have. You can see that it will total the office fees for you. If at any moment there is a difference in the fee that you want to adjust, you can manually switch a flat fee or the percentage as you saw before. And this will allow you to adjust for the correct amount of office fees that you're receiving. And the next thing that you can do within the commissions tab is you see the commission plan button right here. So if there's ever a moment where you have a transaction that maybe you wanted to bring in the team so that you have the agents in the commission team, but on this specific transaction for whatever reason the commission plan is different, what you can do is go into that menu right there and you can select whatever commission plan you want to. So if I'm switching that to a 70-30 plan, I can select that and it will automatically bring in that new commission plan. Once again, that was set up in our previous setup of Realty APX. So this is just a useful feature in order to adjust dynamically for each transaction as it comes. Alright, the next thing that we want to go over is the gross commission amount. So as you can see, the gross commission amount is equivalent to either the commission percentage, if we have a percentage in there, or the flat fee. if we have entered a flat fee rather than a commission percentage. And if you have both in there, you'll see that it's kind of the combination of both of those. It will add those together. So just keep that in mind. And as you remember, when we're setting up our commission structure and setup, every time we create an office fee, we're either applying that to the gross commission amount or the net commission amount. And so it's when we click on gross commission amount, that's generally what you want to do for office fees. So this 40% was set up as applying to the gross commission amount, which means that it's going to take 40% out of $25,000. And so that is important to remember if you're kind of getting confused between how to set up your different office fees and what they apply to. Just keep that in mind that if you're applying to the gross commission amount, it's going to take it out of this amount of money right here. Alright, so the next part of this that you'll see is there's a transaction coordinator fee. If you have transaction coordinators that you often deal with in your business, you can apply that fee. And then you will add them, as you can see here, you could add them in the shared with column to have that contact information in there and then be able to get them their money when you transfer this to the accounting system. The next part is agent commissions. So within this team, we had set up 3 different agents. We had Jonathan Formby and these other 2. The crucial part of agent commissions is to always make sure the percentages are equal to 100%. Sometimes you may have a transaction where an agent receives a specific amount of the commission, and then based on the remaining of the net commission amount minus whatever fee they're getting, and then you want to split that up between the agents, then you can do that. But the fee amount will be the flat amount, kind of in the same way that the flat fee worked. So if I just want to put the exact amount that they're getting rather than the percentage, you can do that. However, remember, I have to make the commission percentages equal to 100%. So if I were to switch this to 0, I would need to add 10% to one of these agents, one of these other agents. And so always keep that in mind. It's crucial for the commissions to work, and a lot of people get confused on that, but just remember that the agent commission split up has to equal 100%. And if you ever wanted to add an agent who was not part of the team but maybe helped out a little bit just for this one transaction, you can click this plus button and click the add agent, and you will be able to add any agent that is in your system to this commission structure. So once again, to review on the commission setup that you may be wondering about, the gross commission amount is $25,000. We will then subtract the $10,000 and the $250,000, or in other words, all of the office fees. And that amount of $25,000 minus the $10,250 will give us what is called the net commission amount. So if you ever apply anything to the net commission amount, that will be taken out of the gross commission amount minus any fees that were applied to the gross commission amount, and that will equal the net commission amount, which will then be the dollar amount that you're taking any percentage or fee out of. So that's kind of how the breakdown of how those work. And this was the agent commissions are obviously going to be the crucial part of transferring this to Account Fusion. And this is how much we will owe each agent for their commission check. Alright, and the last step in the commissions tab that you'll need to know how to do is submitting this commission structure to accounting. Let's go to a property real quick that is sold and completed. And so it's important to note that you won't do this step until a property is set to sold and completed. and that is because obviously you won't want to have your accounting records and the different expenses associated with commissions set until you're completely done with the transaction. So you can see that this property is sold and completed. So if we go to commissions, you'll see that this commission structure has been set up. There's just one agent who's receiving the commission. And so how you submit this to accounting is you go to, you press on these three dots on the top right, and you'll see that there is submit to accounting. So that by clicking that, it's going to transfer to Account Fusion, and you'll be able to print out any checks from there and do anything that you need to from that accounting system. And there's a video on that if you need to watch that to refresh on how to do that. You're also able to export this if you're not using our accounting system, if you just want this for your own accounting records. So those are the different features of the Commissions tab. If you have any questions, you can contact our team. And there's also other videos that will go over the other parts of the transaction system so that you can get a full view of everything that you'll need to do to use the transaction system to its full potential.